This is 3 News Daily.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Daily on this Thursday, March 2nd. I'm Stephanie Haney here with your top stories from around Northeast Ohio. And we start off here in Cleveland today, where fire crews responded to an industrial fire on Marble Avenue in the Slavic Village. Cleveland Fire tells us an oil tank below one of the furnaces that is used to heat treat metal caught on fire after a mechanical failure. A foam truck and hazmat crews responded, and the fire is out now. Thankfully, we can tell you no one was hurt. Now, in crypto crime news, police across Northeast Ohio arrested the owner and founder of SNP Solutions, Sonny Maraban, and also William Suriano, an attorney for Bitcoin of America. They're accused of owning and operating illegal cryptocurrency kiosks. Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley said that authorities found 51 Bitcoin machines falsely operating as Bitcoin of America machines throughout Cuyahoga and Lorain County. Those machines were not licensed in Ohio, and Maraban and Suriano had been taking 20% of every transaction for their own, according to authorities. They face charges of conspiracy, corrupt activity, and money laundering, among others. We have full details on those allegations on our website on WKYC.com. Now, in Mayfield Heights, police are looking for a group of people accused of stealing thousands of dollars in merchandise from area stores. They allegedly walked into the Old Navy on Somme Cedar Road with duffel bags, stuffed them full of clothing worth thousands of dollars, and walked out with all of it. Now, the same group is accused of stealing bags of beauty products from the Ulta in the same shopping plaza on February 17th. Police say they drove off in a gray Kia Optima with tinted windows. If you know anything, call Mayfield Heights Police. Today in East Palestine, activist Erin Brockovich is back in town to participate in another town hall meeting. Right now, she's holding an on-the-ground conversation with the media to break down her investigative findings into East Palestine town wells and water in the area. Water expert Bob Balcock is with her, and we have a crew in East Palestine to talk with her. Coming up tonight, she's hosting a town hall to talk to residents about how they can take legal action against Norfolk Southern for the derailment disaster. 3 News reporter Emma Henderson is on this story for us tonight. Now, this derailment has created rippling health concerns, especially where the hazardous waste is being shipped. One of the Ohio sites has allegedly exposed the community to chemicals that can cause cancer and miscarriages. Those claims come from a 2015 EPA report on Heritage Thermal Services facility in East Liverpool. Since it opened in 1992, it's faced protests and multiple lawsuits from environmental groups. And the EPA said the plant released high levels of toxic chemicals 195 times between 2010 and 2014. The company has always denied wrongdoing. Now, next week, Norfolk Southern will be in Washington, D.C. to testify in front of Congress about the East Palestine derailment. CEO Alan Shaw is expected to talk about precautions the railroad company is taking now to prevent similar crashes. Turns out there's another small town just like East Palestine that has special insight into what lies ahead after a toxic train derailment. This is after a train carrying the same toxic chemical derailed in their town more than a decade ago. We're talking about that vinyl chloride. 3 News investigator Lena Lai takes a closer look.
If you could find clues to the future of East Palestine, perhaps look no further than the small New Jersey town of Paulsboro near Philadelphia, where in 2012, a Conrail train derailed over a problematic swing bridge, sending 100,000 pounds of vinyl chloride into a creek and cloaking the area in a dense, toxic fog.
The whole house literally shook like a huge earthquake.
Paulsboro Mayor Gary Stevenson lives right next to the rail line.
When I walked down there, I was totally unprepared for what I saw. Multiple train cars in the water and a few more cars teetering, getting ready to fall in. And then the big cloud. In a few minutes, you couldn't see anything.
Stevenson, who was deputy fire chief at the time, says they had no idea what the train was hauling. They couldn't see the words vinyl chloride on the tankers. In fact, first responders seen standing in the carcinogenic cloud with the breached tanker just yards away. Days passed before people were ordered to evacuate.
10 years later, who knows what's going to happen as far as our health.
Paulsboro resident Karen Armistead still worries worries about her and her daughter's health and says just like in East Palestine,
People were saying they were falling out, they weren't feeling well, they were getting sick and everything, but they're telling us that the air is clean, the water is okay.
Armistead is among some 2,000 residents who sued Conrail for millions. The cases have since been dismissed or settled for anywhere between hundreds to a few $1,000s.
I get into breathing fits.
Years later, Stevenson's begun to have breathing problems, which he blames on the chemical exposure.
The doctor would say, look, Gary, you won't see it probably the first 7-10 years, but you'll start seeing it afterward. And guess what? He's right.
And just like Norfolk Southern in East Palestine, Conrail offered Paulsboro residents money for their inconvenience. Stevenson has a warning for Ohioans.
Here, we'll give you X amount of dollars, but you can't sue us. You're going to get a health issue down the road. Make sure no one in this town signs a document that states that has a health thing in there. That should not be at all.
More than a decade later, the news crews are gone. So are the federal and state officials who assured residents that the air and water are safe.
It's like we've been forgotten.
And they still wonder if the damage has already been done.
No one has ever come back to us and said, let's retest your citizens. Let's retest you, Mayor. Let's see what's going on. Nothing.
Their message to East Palestine, don't be forgotten. Continue to fight for support.
They always say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so they have to keep squeaking.
Because the town's future is in their own hands. One impact that Paulsboro did not foresee, the impact on its economy. The stigma of the toxic derailment kept visitors away who were thinking the water and ground were contaminated. A number of restaurants and shops closed, and the mayor says it took a few years to recover. For 3 News Investigates, I'm Lena Lai.
Thank you for that, Lena. That's an interesting point there about the stigma. And in a place like East Palestine, the population has already been decreasing, so definitely something to think about. Very interesting and lots of uncertainty at this point. All right, now a state bill that would overhaul education oversight in Ohio is now one step closer to becoming law. The Republican proposed Senate Bill 1 cleared the state Senate yesterday with a 26-7 vote. It would move the majority of power from the State Board of Education to a director appointed by the governor. Supporters of the bill say it would improve accountability and revamp a disorganized system that is too slow to address issues, while educators across the state say it would take a voice away from voters who elect Board of Education members.
When you have, rural communities, suburban communities, urban communities with various needs, including wide spectrums in terms of poverty and wealth, there is no way that a person at the state level is going to be able to make good decisions about that.
Now here in Cleveland, the City Council passed a resolution on Monday demonstrating its opposition to the bill. They're calling it a power grab by the legislature to maintain conservative control over education policies. Now in health news, people who need insulin now have a weight off their shoulders, at least some of them. Drug maker Eli Lilly is slashing the cost of its most commonly prescribed insulin now down to $35 a month. And we've been seeing reports about how expensive insulin can be. Now this cap will automatically apply to people with private insurance. People without coverage will be eligible as long as they sign up for a savings card through the company. The people in support of this cap hope that other companies follow suit.
I certainly hope that they do. I think that in general, all of the insulins that the drug manufacturers make should be affordable and accessible.
Now, to give you an idea about how many people this impacts, about 30% of the country's 8.4 million diabetics use Eli Lilly's insulin to manage their diabetes. All right, now switching gears, it has been a great season for local maple syrup producers so far. Many of them are having an above average year. The more mild winter that we've experienced here in Northeast Ohio is good for maple syrup makers. They're saying the warm weather has helped their success, allowing them to make more maple syrup so far this year than in previous years. So now a lot of maple syrup farms are hosting open houses this weekend. That's where you can go out and see the process for yourself. Interesting. Now the Cleveland Clinic continues to get recognized on the world stage. Newsweek World ranked the clinic as #2 on a list of best hospitals of 2023 among the top 250 hospitals in the world. Cleveland Clinic's Abu Dhabi, Fairview Hospital, and Weston locations also landed on that list. And the Cleveland Clinic is ranked by Newsweek as the 7th best fertility clinic in America. All right, let's talk about our question of the day. The Browns' FirstEnergy Stadium is ranked 25th out of all 30 NFL stadiums in a survey of food and drink options. So if you're doing the math, that ain't great. So we want to know, what options would you like to see added to the stadium? Post your comment to the WKYC Facebook page. We'll talk about it during What's New at 4 o'clock and see if we can't maybe up that ranking a little bit. Okay, Read Across America Day celebrates books that inspire children to dream big and expand the limits of their understanding. So here at WKY Studios, we've been collecting books all week long for Harvey Rice. That's our adopted education station school. So here's a little look at what some of us had to say about books that are important to us that we've been donating this week.
I have donated How to Put an Octopus to Bed because it is super silly and it'll make you giggle like it makes me and my son Jackson giggle all the time before bed.
There are 2 books that I want to share with Harvey Rice students. One of them is Green Eggs and Ham. This taught me a lot about being open-minded, and another one, Where the Red Fern Grows, which has a lot of great lessons about friendship and determination.
Hola, I'm Rosalind Muniz. Growing up, I always enjoyed reading books that explored my Latino and Hispanic heritage. I'm excited to share with you Encanto. Que lo disfrutes.
How cute was Laura with that kid's book? I want her to read a book to me. All right, we gathered about 300 books, and our own Danielle Wiggins stopped by Harvey Rice this morning to drop off those books to students and join the students for a little story time. Danielle read The Smallest Spot of a Dot to Miss Nemeth's 3rd grade class. So we want to wish you all a happy Read Across America Day. Hopefully you can get a chance to do a little reading today with someone that you love. Thanks for watching 3 News Daily. We'll be back tomorrow with more of your top stories from around Northeast Ohio. Everybody have a great day. Thank you to my producer, Claire. That's very sweet. Today is my birthday. I'm having a great day, and I want to thank all of you for the messages that you sent me as well, wishing me a happy birthday. What a sweet surprise. Thank you, Claire. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you back tomorrow with more of your top stories from around Northeast Ohio.